Hola y bienvenidos. Welcome back to Qué Pasa. Ahora estamos aquí, estamos con una invitada que tenemos muy especial. Mi nombre es Ana López, yo soy representante de servicios comunitarios para la Ciudad de Wichita y estoy aquí con mi compañera.
Yo soy Caro y soy especialista en comunicación para la ciudad. Y sí, estamos muy emocionadas porque tenemos a una invitada especialísima. Estamos muy emocionadas de que nos acompañe. Y vamos a estar hablando en Spanglish hoy, así que
En español.
En español y en inglés, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Así que, Alcaldesa Lily Wu.
Bienvenida.
Bienvenida y muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias para Caro y para Ana. Y muchas gracias a todos porque estamos aquí. Mi español es muy malo, nací en Guatemala, pero entiendo más de que puedo hablar, entonces necesito hablar en inglés con entrevista, porque ¿cómo se dice? My brain. Mi cerebro ahora necesita hablar en inglés.
Correcto. Pues estás haciendo muy bien lo que acabas de decir, muy bien, así que...
Pero lo siento que no puedo hablar todo en español.
No está bien.
Yeah, ahorita estábamos hablando, we're talking about how it's all practice, so vamos a tener que practicar más cuando estemos aquí en su oficina para que puedas, ese español vuelva, porque como dijiste, creciste con el español y pues nos da mucho orgullo que nuestra alcaldesa hable y haya nacido, haya vivido en un país latinoamericano.
Sí, así que, Mayor, let's switch to English.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you share a little bit about yourself and your role with the City of Wichita? We know, you said you were born in Guatemala, so tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you very much again for the opportunity to just chat with you guys. And I love Qué Pasa. I think it's so important for us to communicate in what's most natural to you. And so for me, most naturally speaking, I actually speak Chinese. My very first language is Chinese because of my parents. My parents left communist China, and they were hoping for opportunity and freedom. And so they left communist China in 1983, and they didn't come to the United States. They actually went to Guatemala. And that's where my brother Carlos and I were both born. And so I was born and raised in Guatemala until 1993. And so, as a matter of fact, today, April 2nd, is a very important date for my family. This is our anniversary of coming to America.
Aww,
so it was 33 years ago that we came here. And so I have grown up in Wichita since I was 8 years old. I had the opportunity to go to Wichita Public Schools. That's how I learned English formally, but I also learned English informally by watching television. So I love this medium of conversation and learning because I think it's so important that people learn in different ways. And for me, I learned by watching television. I watched Wheel of Fortune and local news, which inspired my career in journalism. So ever since I was 8 years old, I wanted to become a local journalist. Okay. And so I'm very grateful. I went through Wichita Public Schools up until senior year, graduated from Wichita East High in the International Baccalaureate program. And I always say that the Wichita public school system provided me a free public school education thanks to the taxpayers that were there in the 90s and early 2000s. So anytime anyone's watching that's been in Wichita for more than 30 years, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for investing in my education. But then I also got to understand the opportunities in Wichita thanks to mentors, teachers, counselors, neighbors. And so I'm very grateful that mentors showed me opportunities in Wichita. And so for me now, as the mayor of Wichita, I'm the 103rd mayor for the city. There have been 4 other women before me that were mayors for this city. And what I get to do as one person on a council of 7 people is I'm one vote. And that one vote is no greater than the other 6 members. And so I always like to say that I am just a partner with these 6 other individuals. And as mayor, my role is to be the ambassador for this community and to advocate for our community. So I'm very grateful to work alongside these 6 other council members. So I always ask people, do you know who your council member is?
Yeah. And I think your story is just really inspiring for anyone, especially for us. We're also immigrants. I went to East High, so when I hear you speak about your story and just your personal experiences, I identify a lot with you because I went to East. I came when I was 8 years old. I also love local news. So it's like, people can look up to you.
And I was just thinking about that. I was like, Mayor, we have an interesting thing going on here because we're all mujeres, women.
Mujeres.
I also arrived to the United States, to Wichita, when I was 8.
Yes.
That's the commonality, 888.
And then east. So
Yeah.
east.
Okay,
Ooh.
go Blue Aces.
Aces.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's also very inspiring to hear you say all of the things that you have been able to do, and then hear a little bit about your background, because people at that point can connect with you and see everything that you're doing for our community. With that, can you tell us a little bit like what your day-to-day looks like for a mayor? Like when you wake up and you get dressed to come to work, which is City Hall, like can you tell us a little bit about what those days look like for you?
Every day is so different.
It is.
And honestly, this city is so big. Our city has now grown to 400,000 people and just a little bit more. And this city is so wide and also diverse. Yes. And so because there are 6 areas of this community, I really have to rely on the council members to say, hey, this is happening in my district. But I also get a lot of people that contact the office and say, hey, a new business is opening, or do you know about this topic? So my day really is different on a day-to-day basis. But there are some things that are consistent. Every Monday, I have something called Mayor Mondays, and that's my opportunity to help the community understand what's happening at City Hall and in the community. So I go to all the different media outlets and share what's on the agenda for Tuesday. And then on Tuesdays, that's pretty set. That's our council meeting day. So there's always a council meeting or a council workshop at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. So you know where to find me when it comes to Tuesdays. Wednesdays, it fluctuates. Thursdays, there's always a mayor's briefing. At 10:45 a.m., we share the news of the city as well as the community, and it's a consistent Thursday, 10:45. And then Fridays, we have what's called agenda review. And at 11 a.m., we talk about what's going to happen on Tuesday and set out the agenda that's going to be before the council and what we'll be voting on. So my day, those things are set in stone, but then everything else is kind of fluid. Today, I had the opportunity to go to Wichita State University, my alma mater also.
Me too.
And go Shockers! Go Shocks! And got to see one of their new buildings that is really focused on aviation research. And I just love what Wichita State has become. What once was a golf course is now an innovation campus. It's an innovation hub. And that's something to be very proud of. Whether you're a Shocker or not, it is something that is good for our community. So my day-to-day really can vary, but it's always community-driven.
And it's exciting because you're not only in the office. Maybe some people assume the mayor is just at City Hall like all the time. You're all over the community and you're making connections and you're, out there. So
no, and I know as a fact that in between you're always answering emails, calls, meeting with residents, meeting people where they're at, opening the doors here at City Hall in the mayor's office to have to sit down and have conversations with the community. So I know you guys are. My question is, when do you guys rest?
Yeah,
right.
When
is your?
I have to say this because you're a community service rep, and I want to say thank you to you.
Thank you. I appreciate
because
that.
Without you and the other community service representatives, these council members cannot do it alone. And what you do for the community is really be the problem solvers. That I call you because there might be a problem and you know whom best to connect with. And as council members and the mayor, we cannot do this work alone. And so I'm grateful to my assistant, Sarah, because my schedule, again, is all over this community. So shout out to Sarah. But really, the way that we do it is a team effort. We are trying to help community residents understand that the city of Wichita has certain resources and there are certain things that the city of Wichita does well. We work well on public safety. That's police and fire at the city. And at the county side, which is different than the city, they do the 911, the paramedics at EMS. So for us, police and fire is public safety. And then the other big department is public works, because you need to make sure that your streets are well paved so you can go to school or to work. So I always say that we do really well on those two critical aspects, public safety and public works, but we cannot do it alone. And so the city of Wichita has over 3,100 employees, and that's who helps serve the community. So the council and I are just grateful to the employees that really make the city work.
Yeah, and Mayor, we have a growing Hispanic population here in Wichita and, the whole country. Why is it important for the community to get involved? And if they're unsure, because I feel like a lot of people aren't sure how government works. And I know that's one of your passions, to like educate people and inform people about how government works.
Absolutely.
So how can they start?
Well, first and foremost, the best way to start is, do you know your council member? There are 6 districts in the city of Wichita, and each of the districts has someone that's called a council member, but I call them the mayor for that district. And it's really powerful to get to understand your own district. So that's the very first thing I would encourage you. Do you know where you live? Find out who your council member is. Another thing here in Wichita, the Wichita Police Department in particular has a Spanish-speaking department, and they are very in tune with trying to communicate through the Policía de Wichita Facebook page and the talleres comunitarios. They really want the community to be part of that process. And when you understand the role that police play in helping keep our community safe, but they can only do that with the help of the community. Public safety is not just the responsibility of police. It really is a community and neighborhoods. And so when you get to understand what their role is, and you can be a part of, hey, if you see something very strange or something that shouldn't be happening, who do you connect with? I always say, first, connect with your council member. Let them know that that's something that's happening. But if it's a serious safety matter, you can always call 911.
I always like to tell residents that they are the ears and eyes of City Hall and what's going on. So if you see something that's happening in your neighborhood, please report it to us, because we cannot address what we don't know, what we don't see, what we don't hear. So it's very important for people to be part of the solution, right? That should be the thing. I want to be part. I see a problem. How can I be part of the solution?
You know, one of the things that we always try to encourage people is be empowered with what's that next step. And one of the next steps is something called report an issue. I always encourage people to either go to wichita.gov, and one of the big icons is report an issue, or if you have one of these handouts, there's a QR code. There's also a phone number that you can call to report an issue. And that phone number is actually spelled out Wichita. So that number is 942-4482, but it spells out Wichita. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's neat information.
316 Wichita.
316 Wichita. That's, it is easy to remember.
Yeah.
And the cool part about our website is that we can translate in so many languages, not just English. So, para los que hablan español, pueden ir al sitio web y lo pueden cambiar a español, y ahí pueden recibir mucha información.
Pero also, algo muy importante para nuestra comunidad es de que esto es algo que este podcast está tratando de hacer, es hacer el personal que está accesible, que habla español, conectarlos con la comunidad. Por si ustedes prefieren comunicarse en español, tengan un espacio y lo hagan con facilidad.
Sí. Y pues antes de irnos, le queremos agradecer mucho. We want to thank you for being here and chatting with us. But we want to have some fun before we go.
Yes. So we have a few questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit. And it's called rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, just what comes to mind. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Early in the morning, cafecito.
Solo necesito uno.
Un cafecito.
Un cafecito,
Perfecto. Early morning or late night?
Los dos.
Okay.
I maximize my time.
You're busy.
So I have to be a morning person some days, a later person for other functions. So it's an all-day thing. So I'm a little bit of both.
Both. Perfect. What's your favorite spot in Wichita? Favorite place, favorite spot?
That one's a little harder, but I would say just spending time with my dogs. Anything where I'm able to just spend time with my dogs is actually my very favorite place.
Oh, yeah, they're your babies.
What kind of babies? Yes. I have an 11-year-old Samoyed. She's a pure white fluffy dog. Okay. And then I have a under 1-year-old puppy named Toto. And Toto is pretty pocket-sized. He's about 20 pounds. So I will have to bring him to City Hall. I think that Toto needs to become the mascot for the city of Wichita.
Bring him on the podcast next time.
Okay, yes. Okay. Mi little, perrito.
Sí, perrito. Yeah.
We need to bring your dog to work day.
Yes, that would be fun.
All right. One word to describe your work.
Engaging.
Okay.
There's just a lot of engagements that I do. So just last year, I had over 1,100 public engagements.
Wow.
And so my work is always very engaging. I like to connect with people. And because I'm exposed to so many different things, I like to connect the dots for people. So if I know that there's a nonprofit that can provide this service, I want you to know about it. And then go and spread the news to other people.
Yes. So we go back to, when does the mayor rest, right?
I know. You work on the weekends too.
I do. So when people are like, have a nice weekend and relax, the busy part is weekends. There's so many things happening in our community. I just love that we really are very community focused. If you want to do something, whether it's something healthy, like every Saturday, there's something called Park Run at Exploration Place, a free run, 5K. You don't have to run. You could walk too. Or you could do Open Streets ICT. There's one coming up in April at WSU. The other one will be in May at 21st and Broadway in Nomar. And then the third one will be in September, right? Open Streets Douglas. So there's so many things happening in our community. So no rest for the weary.
Yeah.
And for the people who say, there's never anything to do in Wichita, the mayor has proven that that is not true. There's always something to do in Wichita.
There is.
And we can tell you all about it. So just follow our social media pages, the City of Wichita, the mayor's page, and we can tell you all about what's going on in Wichita. So last question, a fun fact or a hidden talent from our mayor.
We already know you have so many talents, especially speaking all those languages.
Hidden talent?
Hidden talent or a fun fact?
Yeah, but I'm sure you...
Okay. Fun fact, I was Miss Kansas United States 2012. So for me, pageantry helped me become a more confident and community-involved individual. One of my platforms as the title holder was embracing cultural diversity and celebrating cultural diversity. So I love all the diversity in Wichita. Our Asian community is very vibrant. There's always an Asian festival in the fall. Our Hispanic community has so many different fiestas that I love celebrating. We have a very strong Lebanese community here in Wichita, and I appreciate that they have become physicians and restaurant owners in our community. So there's a lot of diversity in our community, and the cultural diversity is what I love most, because the cultures that we experience, we can really break bread together and have meaningful experiences together.
All right.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, Mayor, what does it mean to you to make sure every resident's voice in Wichita is heard?
So for me, it's about listening to our community. And so I'm so grateful again to Qué Pasa, because you're helping community residents understand what are the issues that they care about. And I hope that they'll be sharing with you all, hey, who else should be in this hot seat next? But it's about listening. And then after listening, really finding a way to capture that information. And one of the things that the City of Wichita does to capture that information is an annual community survey. And that annual community survey tells us what are the most important things that we need to work on, because there's a lot of things, right? We have 16 departments, but what is maybe the top 5 things that we really need to work on? And for the past 3 years, it's been consistent. Your community, our community residents say, number 1, crime. Number 2, streets. Number 3, economic development. And number 4, homelessness. So this community continues to say, you want to see a reduction in crime. You want to see our roads get better so that you can go to school and to work. You want to see jobs. That's economic development. You want to make sure that you have jobs. And then lastly, how do you help neighbors who are experiencing homelessness? And so those are the things that, as mayor, I'm listening, I'm gathering that data through community survey, and then how do we lead together? Because we have to prioritize. The budget is only so much. The budget is right here in this handout, and the budget has to reflect our relentless focus on those priorities.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Mayor, for being here with us and for everything that you do for the community and for representing everyone and each one of us here. And for anyone listening, we just want to tell you guys that your voice matters. So make sure that you make your voice heard.
Yeah, it's all about connection. Connect with your municipality, with your council members, with your mayor, with the people that work for the city. Feel empowered to take an action, and then take an action to why we're all in this community, and it's our home. So we want to make sure that it is the best, in the best shape that could be for ourselves and our future generations. So Mayor, Alcaldesa, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Muchas gracias. Nosotros amamos nuestra ciudad, es nuestra casa, y necesitamos todos juntos ayudando nuestra ciudad.
Sí.
Nos vemos en el próximo episodio de ¿Qué pasa?
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.